G'day YouTube, my name's Lance. Welcome to Bundy Bear's Shed. Well, the weather report. Look, we've had lovely days with nice wind, a nice breeze, and as the afternoon goes by, the breeze gets a little bit stronger. And sitting out in the pool room, where the breeze can come in through there of an afternoon, having a drink, it's just nice. So. Today is a bit overcast and the breeze is there this morning. There's no dew on the ground this morning and the breeze has started already. So no biggie. I've got all the doors pegged on the shed here to stop them, vibrating, banging away like they do in the tracks. So I'm hoping to get a bit of filming done today, as in on the Massey 20. It'll be up around 30 degrees C, for the weather. But with the cyclone up north, there's a cyclone or a hurricane, as you would say in the States, up north, and it'll probably cross the coast this week sometime. It's a fair way north of us, like it's a long way north. But when you look at the cyclones on the weather maps, they all seem to go clockwise, and what that does for us is if it's up north of us, there's often a monsoon trough sort of thing comes in under it, and we get really good rain. And we're hoping we get a bit of good rain. The dams could do with a little top up. But look, all in all, for water and rain at the moment, we're doing pretty well. The tanks are so far off full each one, and the one out the back's been overflowing. So I spent yesterday, while I was painting the chassis of the 65 and all that, I spent that with the pump just taking the top out of this back tank, watering the orchard. So I'll probably do that a little bit later on as well. The mango trees up the house, where Judy always puts the duck water on, or the chook water, or a bit of washing water and things like that, they've got a ripper mango crop. Mine up the back here, I've got 3 trees up the back, there's the odd one. And I think it's just because, in flowering time they were just so stressed from the dry. And being up here, we're near the bush, and being near gum trees and that, and they'll send the roots out, and you don't get much good out of it. So anyway, doesn't matter. I'll give them a bit of a drink today. And the Bureau, I just had a look before I come on, and the Bureau reckons 20 to 50 millimetres this week for the 7 days. So we're hoping we do get a bit of that. The paddock, I slashed the front part of the paddock last week, and you'll see that in a little video at the end. And it shot up a bit, and the front lawn grew. Last Sunday I mowed the front lawn at the house there, and it grew about 70 mil in about 3 or 4 days. But on Thursday afternoon, we had a Rum City Vintage Machinery Club committee meeting here up at the pool room, and the grass was nice and fresh. And we had a look yesterday, and because of the hot days, the grass was looking a bit, just dried out. It wasn't green and standing up so much. So, but a little bit more rain would be nice. We had a couple of bits of rat tail grass around the paddock, and rat's tail grass, it's a noxious weed here. You're supposed to get rid of it, and we try and keep it down, but with kangaroos coming through the place, well, there's always a little bit there. So we usually grab the stalks. Jude chops them off with the seed heads on them and put them in a shopping bag to go in the bin, and I do the roundup, Ronnie Roundup. And so the paddock over the years, it's like we've gone from probably 60, 80 pieces in it to, like yesterday there would have been half a dozen, perhaps 10 maybe. That's a good thing. We're slowly gaining on that. And the block next door, the 40 acres next door, it's got groundsel bushes. So along that fence line, I'm getting tiny little groundsel bushes coming up. So I'm up them with the roundup, before they take over. But if they seed next door, you haven't got much say. It's just deal with it as it comes, I suppose. That's all you can do. Pardon me. Still didn't go to work last week. I've been resting the knee up, and look, it is feeling quite a bit better. My normal bad knee, which is my right hand one, it's back to being the worst one. So that's good. That's when you're an old fart, eh? Getting old and rooted, you got to talk about your dicky knee. And but no, the left hand one that I damaged that meniscus jumping off the truck when I was loading Goldie, it is feeling quite a bit better. I'm tossing up whether I'll go into work this week and tackle the 16 stairs up to the office or not, but I'm just going to take it steady. I had a good day in the shed yesterday and I did quite a bit of walking, not on the concrete floor here so much, but going out to shift a sprinkler all the time. Every half an hour I'd be over there and shift it and come back and over there and shift it. And bit of walking there, and last night in bed they played up a little bit. And they're a little bit tender today, so today I'll take it a little easier. But yeah, I've been doing sit down jobs like on the, I've actually filmed on the Dexter, that loose fuel pipe, and the olive's coming off the end of the pipes. And I don't have a proper olive here. I reckon I should have, but you know, I need to sort my shit out, I suppose. All those renegade pots, get them happening instead of just looking at them. And I put a rubber O-ring, a rubber ferrule off a Fergie pipe on and put it in, and that's fixed it. I've taken it for a drive around the paddock, and after at the end of the stew there, I've got a bit of a video. I thought, right, I've fixed the fuel leak on the Dexter. I'll go for a quick lap around the paddock, and just to make sure it was right and there was no air in it or anything like that. So I headed off, and the bloody dog, you know, you remember a while ago, I run over her front legs because she's always biting the front wheels. Well, that was a $2,000 exercise, so you'd think she'd learn, but oh, she gives me the shits. You always coming in, bite the wheel, and just in front of you, ruff, ruff, barking away. So I did 2 takes yesterday. I went for a lap with the dog barking, and I thought, this is giving me the shits. So I came home, hooked the chain up onto the front of the Massey 20 and tied her up. Well, you should have seen the look she was giving me. Bloody, yeah, she's thinking, this is a cat's ass, Dad. And off I went for a little drive then without the dog there. And yeah, she got the shits looking sideways at me for an hour or so. But I let her off once I finished, but yeah, she didn't like that, missing out on the fun. So at the end, yeah, I'll leave a bit of the dog barking and you'll see how bloody annoying it is. And then I'll put the run just around the paddock with the Dexter on its own. Yeah, it's not a bad. It's a good little tractor. It's quite low on engine oil, and after a good run yesterday, I can see where I've parked it overnight. The breather pipe's got a little oil puddle on the ground, so she's going to need a bit of an engine sort out. But that's fine. It's we'll get to that when time allows. I was filming with this little camera. Now this is an older camera. It's a DJI Action 2, and they're only that big normally, and I've bought the extra battery pack on the bottom, so that gives me about an hour 160, 180 minutes of recording time. And I've been using this with a what do they call this? 3-footed monster magnet, and these are strong, these little magnets, and you know, you got all your adjustment and that you need, and it's a great little thing. And so yeah, I used that for the filming on the Dexter. You can just plonk it on, but I often pick it up, and some of the video of the fixing the fuel lift pump I did with this, and you can set the horizon, and some of the video coming up this week where you're having a look at the, yeah, I've edited it, but I haven't put it out yet, I think. Anyway, you can set this camera like that, and the horizon still stays like that. So if you're looking under a dash and you've got the valve there, you hold the camera like that and the valve straight, but you can hold the camera like that and it still, or that, and it still keeps that horizon in the same plane. Really handy, especially when you can get it. Yeah, sometimes it just magnets onto something and you've got to fiddle around and get a reasonable thing. But I'm I haven't used this an awful lot. I've always used the camera, this Lumix one, but it's big and bulky for those jobs. And I know the Lumix, if I put it on a tractor, it gets this vibration through it, this scrolling through it from the vibration, so it doesn't work. But this little thing, it's better than my GoPros, I believe. And I've got a 128 gig card in it, meg card in it. And with the extra battery, it's just a good thing. You can get, for 250 bucks in Australia, you can get one with a screen in the front. And I find it, like sitting it up on the toolbox there, and filming something here, I find it a pain in the arse that I can't actually see what I'm looking at here. You've got to look at the back, and like when you've got it turned to look at something you're doing in the vise like that, it's actually quite difficult to get in there and make sure you've got the shot happening and things like that. So you can buy a little front screen, and the front screen's an extra battery, and the thing with putting the bottom part on here is, instead of, if you just have the base camera, now this is an old model, I don't think you can buy it anymore, but yeah, it uses the memory in the camera there. But with the bottom on here, that gives you a USB-C charging port that you can charge it while you're working, and a micro SD card slot. So great little cameras. I think next time I'm looking for an action camera, and hopefully it's not for a while, instead of a GoPro, I'll probably go DJI. They have a Action 3 now, which looks like a GoPro more. But yeah, we'll just see, eh? See what happens. And the magnets on this 3footedmonster.com, they're, even with that 3mm hobby mat on the table there, there's still magnets on enough to make it stable. So I've got the cylinders off the Massey Ferguson 20 to reseal. I'm hoping to do that today. Yeah, I got them off yesterday while I was buggering around on my little stool there. I have the seal kits for these now, so I'm hoping once I do the stew to sit up the end here and do them. I'll just film one, and yeah, away we'll go. For the 135 multi-power, it had power steering on it, and I was taking the power steering off that because it's going to be a fast on the road tractor, and the steering's good for the paddock, but it's not a real good road one. So I've taken the steering column off for that, and I'm going to put a manual steering column on the 135 multi whenever I get to it. And I bought some power steering hoses for it through Quality Tractor Spares, Tractor Parts in Ireland. Now, I've had these hoses for bloody yonks, like years. And anyway, the hoses on the Massey 20 are playing up. You know, they're homemade hoses, and they've been brazed, and they look shitty. And I thought, well, I've got these hoses there, I'll just go and put them on. So I've gone and got them yesterday, and I'm just working out where I'm going to put them. And on the 135 and the Massey Ferguson 20, the female is a half JIC, or the male for the female to go onto. And these hoses, they're 916 JIC. So there's no part numbers left on them, so I can't see if I've ordered the wrong one, or I don't know if Massey 240 is the same or different or whatever, I just don't know. But what I'm wondering now is there such a thing as a half JIC female to 916 JIC male just in a little adapter? I haven't looked. Yeah, if you see one, give us a yell on Amazon or something or other. And that would use those hoses without having to cut and shut, and which I just wanted the hoses, the nice tidy hoses on it. I think the 148 hasn't got power steering on it. I probably should. Yeah, it hasn't got power steering, so that's why Judy will probably nick this Massey Ferguson 20 on me. It'll have power steering, and it's a little shorter tractor for us. So, but there's a bit of work to do yet. I've got the foot throttle assembly there to put on. I've been fiddling with that, just checking that because it's aftermarket, just checking it's good. The air cleaner's never had a duck's arse on it, and the rubber around the outer element, it's never had that. So There's going to be a video in pulling that out and cleaning it and bathing it and making that factory again and putting a new air cleaner hose on it. I noticed the lift pump's leaking on it, so whether it's a fitting or the pipe or what, I don't know. We'll deal with that. And the power steering pump turned up last week, but I haven't put the power steering pump on yet. I've got the control valve all resealed and back in, and I've got the cylinders here. So what I'm thinking of doing is using the old pump, running oil through the old pump, and then I'm slowly getting all the red oil out, and I'm putting the back end oil in. I use LSA farm oil 1540, and look, that's fine in your steering. And if your steering pump leaks and it leaks into your engine, that's fine. It's an engine oil as well. So I do have a new power steering pump to put on it, but I'm going to run it and test it with the old pump, and later on we'll put the new pump and we'll flush the system once more, because with the cylinders and that, we're putting new oil in all the time anyway. So that'll give us a nice clean system flush that I'm looking for. The hydraulics at the back, I haven't worked anything out there yet. I just haven't put any time into it. Pardon me. The Bundy Bear Shed website, man, have I been putting some hours in on that. I seem to do an awful lot of work for not much. You can't tell. But I'm slowly getting there, and if you have a look, last week I got the Fergie 35 service bulletins were all done. I think I've only got 1 or 2 maybe TE20 service bulletins to go. Then I'll be on to the 100 series, and then I've got David Brown. I found a heap of McCormick Deering, the early farm oil ones to put on. And I'm not even scanning some of my own books yet. I'm scanning a few of them, but not a lot. Little brochures and things that I'm working through I do, but while I've got this big log of bulletins and manuals and things like that, digital copies now, there's no use scanning stuff I've got when I've already got it. And some of the places I'm getting files from, look, I've been collecting them for years, many years. But if you have a look on the Facebook pages on the files section, there's a lot of files there. I grab them, take copies of them. They're out there for public use. They're free to use. I'm just trying to get them all over the Bundy Bear Shed website. So there's a one-stop shop, and you can run through the Dave Brown Implematic or Selectomatic bulletins and just start at the top, and you'll be able to read there for hours. Print the ones out that you'd like to print and take to the shed, and you know that there's a safe copy there. Talking to Catalyst Directions, the people that are hosting my website, it depends on how much I put on there, and I've got a little bit of freeboard there, but I'm certainly filling it up, and at the moment it's $50 a month hosting. So Bundy Bear Shed, the YouTube ad revenue helps with that. So look, if you can just watch the bloody ads, let the ads roll, watch the ads. You don't have to pay anything, just let the ads roll, and that little bit of extra revenue will help support this over the years. And I'm setting it up as a long-term thing, and when I get too old and buggered to look after it, we'll be transferring it, giving it to someone else to look after. So that's the plan. All these old documents, some of the old McCormick Deering stuff I've been finding, like they're old yellow sheets and things like that, and we're just saving them, putting them there. So if anyone's got an old farm or regular or something like that, they've got the information they need, the paint colour, just whatever the company put out in the day. Some of it's completely irrelevant now because changes made on a TE20 back in 1949 is irrelevant because the parts changed now, and then all the parts suppliers supply the later one and that. But it's just good info to have. Like if you're a tractor nut, it's just interesting to have it there. So the website's going well. We've sold a few T-shirts and stubby coolers and stickers and things like that. if you buy a stubby cooler or something like that, don't go buying a sticker, we'll just put one in. We usually do. I'm going a couple of the manuals that I don't have to scan. Anyone that's got a Massey Ferguson 2000 series, I've got the factory book, the factory workshop manual here in the factory cover, that it slides in to put in the shelf to keep it in good order. In my stuff I've got a 2000 series workshop bulletin, so not workshop bulletin, workshop repair manual. So if you have a 2640 or something like that, hit me up, I'll sell it to you. It's in good nick. It's a nice tidy book. I'm not, because of the size of it, I'm not going to scan it and put it on the website. I'm just not doing it. It's just too much work. Too much work for the big books anyway. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it's a 2000 series. I always thought it was a 200 series, and so I tucked it away. I thought, I'm not selling that. I'll keep the original copy, the 200 series and the 500 series, in case I buy one, and I'll keep the original here, just have an original. And but yeah, the 2000, I'm never going to buy one of them, so it's available if someone wants it. Hit me up on bundybearsshed@gmail.com. The new website has another email. It's lance@bundybearsshed.com. Either email works. It comes straight to me, doesn't go to anyone else. And yeah, but it's slowly building. It seems like I spent hours and hours and hours. I put in 12-hour days on it last week for 3 or 4 days, and you can't see where I've been. So I've got a Samsung T7 solid-state hard drive, and everything that goes on the website, I have digital backup copies there. Some are watermarked, some aren't. Most files on the website are watermarked, like I said, but if you particularly need a copy that's not watermarked, I can probably provide that. But anyway, we just got to get it up there first, and it's going to be months and months and months, but it's a good job when you've got dicky knees. Look, that's it for today. Like I say, I have got a little video of fixing the lift pump on the Dexter. I might have a part 1 and part 2 of the stew. I have got a little video on just fixing the olive on the Dexter. It's a pissy little job, hardly worth mentioning. And the little drive around the paddock, it'll only be a few minutes, but I have done a walk around on the Massey 20. I've had a look at the Massey 65 dash that I've set up a little stool out the front there. I haven't used it yet, but I'm going to. And I've actually got the fuel tank sitting out the back. I took it out there yesterday and pressure cleaned it, because once I get the battery bracket and all that sorted and sitting on the tractor, well, then I can mount the fuel tank. But I am thinking of putting a bit of Stoneleigh grey under the fuel tank and on top of the engine and all round, rather than just assemble the tractor, then just blow it up and take pot luck to where it gets to. So mind to be made up there yet. I had this all done, but I undercoated that yesterday. The bracket that goes from the top of there down to the thermostat housing, I'd straightened that. I've undercoated it, but there is a little ripple just there. I'll sand the top off that and just see if I can get it a bit tidier. I'm not going to stress too much about that, though, being under the bonnet, and it's under the bonnet and the fuel tank comes up here, so you won't see it, but I know, I'm a bit of a fussy prick, so we'll just see how that goes. Okay, thanks for dropping by, everyone. Have a great week. I'll try and keep these legs getting better and better, and they are getting better and better. And yeah, we'll go from there, eh? See you next week. Well, look at this. So, yesterday I took the time to tidy up the main chassis of the 65, and I was a little bit worried. I had the rust converter on it, but I'd had it sitting for so long, and I thought I could see a little bit of surface rust coming through, so I cleaned it all up, tidied it all up, and like a little bit of paint where the housings go there is not going to matter at all. That's fine, but I have tidied the whole show up and got it all the same colour. If you remember, the steering column was red, and yeah, I'm still staying away from the diff and that's just heavy, and the final drives here, I just don't want to go lumping them around. Even though I have a gantry, just lifting the heavy items up and down, you do have to do a bit of lifting, and I'm just trying to keep away from that just for the moment. And the 65 wheels we've got apart, but the kids actually did that for me, the grandkids. Give them a nut gun and away they went. So I do need to paint the centres of them, get them all ready and primed, red. The guards, the centre of the rims there have to go red. The mud guards, I've got a couple of guards there and they need to go red as well. But we've got plenty to do in the meantime. But yeah, this has come up okay. I've got to take the radiator back out, and I am thinking of putting a little bit of grey in the gun. And these places, like under the tappet cover here, inside the radiator, inside the shroud, they're very hard to paint normally. So I am thinking of popping a bit of paint, grey, Stoneleigh grey, in under there and under the fuel tank. And some of these places here, like when the battery box and all goes in there, we won't be able to get a decent coat of paint on it. So I am thinking of painting some of those items there, that just to have a good cover on them. And yeah, just get everywhere. Where normally I'll assemble a tractor and I'll run it up, then once I know I've got no leaks, I give it a tidy up and I paint the whole thing in one hit. But yeah, with this one I was thinking of, because the tank's so big, and I will have to get the fuel tank back off to do the tappets after we run it for a while, but that's the story anyway for this part of it. So yeah, it's all brand new radio, new steering knuckles. I left the rubber on the steering knuckles in under the dash here where you can't see, but the ones out on the tie rod ends there and on the drag link here that you can see, once it's painted they'll have nice new rubbers. And I know from the factory they'll probably paint it over, but I just thought I'd not do that. So there you go. That's been a milestone I've been looking to do for quite some time, and I haven't quite felt, you know, like I could get into it. So yeah, that's little victories anyway. Out the front here I've got a little pallet on a stand, and I can bring my stool out here and sit out here. I'm just noticing that the voltage regulator has got a little screw there like that to hold it in. Actually, this would be one of the bolts for it. It should be a crossways with the bolts coming out. Yeah, one through there and one on the other side. So, but it's had a bit of work done to it. When you look right up in, don't know if you can see right up in there. I'll poke the camera in case you can. Yeah, right up the back corner there you can see a patch. So it's had a couple of patches, and on the battery box here, this piece here is a patch. And I've made it out of two little pieces. And the welds are pretty shitty. So that piece there, I may fold up a new one. I have that capability here, so I may as well. Yeah, try and copy this, measure a battery and see. But that should all come out okay. The dash from this side looks okay, but in here you can see some bog in there. That's where the patches have been, so I imagine I'll be getting that old bog out and putting new bog in. And yeah, look, just seeing how we go, I suppose. But if we walk back over here, this looks like a bit of a mess going on, and it is. I'll put the light on. There we go. I got my little stool here so I can sit. And I've got a little tripod there so I can sit and fiddle. I shifted the gauge from being on the power steering pump to being in the main pressure pipe there. Main reason is that my old gauge shit itself. I had to have it apart anyway, and I wanted this digital gauge on there, so that'll be okay. Now, At the moment I've got the filters for the air cleaner. Because the air cleaner hasn't had a duck's bum for so long, it's just full of muck. So a nice little sit down job is to pull that off. I've got a brand new air cleaner hose for it. That hose is ready. So the air cleaner is going to come off in a video in a day or two, and it'll be fully cleaned, tidied up, a new hose put on. I noticed the lift pump here is leaking and that nut's bottomed right out, so that's another job. And I'm just having a fiddle here now with the new foot throttle. So this is a new Sparex foot throttle. It seems to be okay. What's the part number here? The part number is S42691, and look, it's pretty close to original. The grooves on the pedal are slightly higher than the grooves on the original, but because of the brake there, I'm not that keen on using this one. I've taken a bolt out of here and put it in the back there just to check that the threads are all the same, and they are. And I believe this rod here, that's going to need a bend in it to facilitate full throttle. So at the moment this tractor's not getting full throttle. It's only getting about 1600 revs by the hand throttle. So as part of that project, yeah, we'll just be adjusting and fiddling. So a lot of fiddling. I don't know how much filming there, but a lot of fiddling around. But yeah, it's a little bit of content for you, so we'll have a look at that. The power steering rams are off and up on the bench, so I probably should jack this up, pull that top bell crank off here, take that off, and yeah, start working on freeing up that kingpin. It is coming, so it is getting better, so we'll just play it by ear, eh? Well, I've run into a couple of hurdles here. You can see this is a piece of angle iron that they've bashed around. Then this is two pieces of something joined. They're all different thicknesses. Yeah, I probably could make that, but I can't fold the thick stuff there. But anyway, that's not my main worry for the moment. My main worry is this dash here. Now, here's a patch. It's got all these little dimple repairs here. I've got a rust hole there. I've got rust up through here. Rust there. And this rust along that ledge there. But when I tip him over, now I've got it apart, we have a rust repair there, a rust repair there where they've bodged that up, a rust repair there, and I've sanded them all back and bead blasted it a bit, and that we could probably save that a bit. We'd have to try and keep this curve going around where it's got a low spot in there, and that is doable. And then this patch here, that's probably blowing the sound out. It's quite low. There's a high piece just through here on the weld, and we have a couple of nuts there. They've drilled them, and they've drilled them crooked, so we would have to get the whole nuts out of there. And that's the look at it from the back. And there's another one there, and another one there. So there's an awful lot of work in that. Just this edge, you know, making up a little piece, which it can be done, but I think what I'm going to do, this is where I've sandblasted. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to ring old Gordon Ellis out at Inverell, and if he's got a good second-hand dash and battery box, I think I might go that way. Just by the time I buy the filler and do all the stuff on here and muck around, it is doable, but yeah, I think I would be happier with a better panel. Now the lower apron It's not half bad. It hasn't got any patches in it. There's a couple of holes there that they've had a gauge there one time, I would think. Looks okay there. And inside there, well, look, that's just a normal panel, what you'd expect. There's a few holes here. And I think they've had that's where the light switch went, but they've had something else there, so I'll have to fix those holes. So, yeah, look, that's what I might do. If I can buy one at a reasonable price, a good second-hand one that's better than what I got, I will. If I can't, well, I'll just solder on with this one. But the hours involved in doing this and getting this all sorted out, all these brackets straight. I think if I can find a better sample, I will.